we're talking about government, bicameral legislatures? Is that what we're talking about?
Not in here.
What, World War One?
You just tell me.
World War I.
This is U.S. history.
We're in
Okay.
U.S. history, and we just talked about the main causes of World War I.
World War I, Tennessee played an important part in World War I. Now, we have a new slogan in Tennessee called Tennessee Leads the Nation, and we do. If you stop and listen, you'll hear the beat of feet of people moving into this state. They're leaving California by the thousands and coming in. And believe it or not, in my district, I have 1,000 new people in my district every month. 1,000 people a month are coming in. And most of them are coming from other states because the secret's out. Tennessee leads the nation in almost every way. But Tennessee has always had a leadership role. And I'm going to rewind to World War I and talk about a hometown hero that lived not far from here, probably 45, 50 minutes from here. And his name was Alvin C. York, Sergeant York. Sergeant York, if you come to my office, and I would love for you to come, bring them up, bring a bus trip sometime. We have bus parking. We'd love to have them. Sergeant York was from, does anybody know where Jamestown is? Jamestown? Back then they called it Jimtown. Some of us old timers still call it Jimtown. He was from Fentress County, Jamestown. Now stay with me on this story because it is a little complicated part, or in other words, I talked too much. Sergeant York lived in Jamestown, and when he was a pacifist, he did not believe in war, and he did not believe in fighting. And that really set up a big conflict for him when World War I was declared, because they were drafting our men into the service. Well, guess what? He got a draft notice to join, to come and be inducted into the Army. And this is what I like so much about Alvin York. He didn't want to fight. He was a pacifist. You know what a pacifist is? Somebody that doesn't believe in fighting. He didn't want to do that, but he was a patriotic, loyal American. And even though his personal views were against fighting, he wasn't going to tell his government no. So he joined the United States Army and was sent over to Europe. Now, if we were in your book, just put your thumb on that line right there, because I'm coming back to it. Sergeant York was a functional illiterate. That almost sounds disrespectful. He was a functional illiterate. Do you know what a functional illiterate is? It is, what is it? Give me.
Someone who can, they can't read, but they can still function.
Very good. Good answer. A functional illiterate is somebody who probably doesn't have more than a third grade education. And the illiterate would be, they have zero. But he may have had a third, because in Fentress County in those days, there was no school. There was no school for elementary kids to go to school. So you learn by the school of hard knocks. So he was an illiterate, functional illiterate. They shipped him over, and then he was put in a group of soldiers, some of which had high school education, some of them had college educations. And he saw from his experience with those guys how important it was to have a good education. I'm coming back to that now. Are you keeping up with me? All right. Well, his I don't know the correct name for my history. If I'm wrong, correct me. But his regiment would be too large of a group. His group, his corps, we'll say his regiment, even though that's probably not the correct term. I'm close. His regiment was out, and they were trapped by a German machine gun nest. They were just literally sitting ducks. They were caught in a fire from Germans. And Sergeant York, who was back home here in Jamestown, was a champion marksman. What's a marksman? Who knows what a marksman is? Shooter. Now, he could shoot. He was a good shooter. He made his living. He kept his family fed by hunting. He single-handed went around and got behind that little group. I call them a nest of German machine gunners. He got behind them and one by one picked them off because he was such a superb marksman. And then the ones that weren't killed, he took prisoners. So what do you think his superiors thought when he put that German machine gun nest out of business and brought in single-handedly, not making this up, single-handedly 130 prisoners. One guy brought them all in as prisoners. And he was made, for his achievement, he was given a Medal of Honor. A Medal of Honor, and became a national hero. He was asked to speak everywhere when he got back from the war. He had a ticker tape parade in New York City with thousands of people lining the street of New York. If you were living back then, your great-grandparents maybe, they'd know in a heartbeat who Albert York was, because he was a national hero. And do we still have pictures on cereal boxes? I may be dating myself here. When I was growing up, the movie stars and the athletes always got their picture on the box of cereal called Wheaties. And the theory was, if you eat Wheaties, you'll be just like this athlete. Well, I tried and it never worked for me. But anyway, his picture would have been on every cereal box. I mean, he was a household word, one of the most popular and well-known people in America because of his heroism and his bravery. One guy took out a German machine gun that took 130 prisoners and saved the lives of his comrades. And for that, he received that medal and was treated a national hero. Now, what did I say? We're going to rewind back to the old days of education. He was determined, since he had found out from his buddies what it was like to have a good education, he was not going to stop until he had a school built for the young kids in Jamestown and Fentress County. Remember, I said there was no school there. Can you believe that? And so he made his life's work after the war to raise funds to build a school in Jamestown. In fact, I just told you a moment ago, he spoke everywhere. You know, a lot of times they will pay you to speak. It's called, the word is called an honorarium. And he did not keep any of that money personally. He turned it over to this fund that was responsible for building the school. He even personally dug the footers for the school. He was so invested, needless to say, it was called Alvin York Institute. And that school is still there today. It's the original school building is still there, but it's not used anymore. It's really fallen into disuse. It's kind of fenced off. But they built another school, and it's called, have you heard of York Institute before? Y'all play them in athletics?
We've not played them in a long time.
Okay, good. YAI, York Agriculture Institute, York, or they call it York School or York Institute up there. And it's because of what he did. And so what I have Alvin C. York's original oil painting with him and his Smith Hill rifle hanging in my wall. So if we get you to come visit, I'll show you that portrait of him. So his achievement was, in my opinion, his Yager's opinion, was not only his bravery and patriotism and his love of America, but it was also his commitment to education. He made such a contribution there. The kids that were born long after he died got an education that they would have never received without his efforts. So, to me, we remember him for his valor, but I remember him too, and it's wherever I go, and I tell this, what he did for education of children, which is so important, because he knew how important it was because he didn't have one. So that's my World War I story. And now can I ask questions?
Yeah,
whoever's in charge of the time.
You kind of took some content from me next week, but that's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's perfect. It's
Well,
perfect.
be nice when I probably make 2 or 3 errors, but in politics we say we don't make errors, we misspoke, you know. I don't do that, of course, you know, but Questions? And somebody, whoever's keeping time, let me know.
Yes, Senator, we probably have time for one question.
Okay, who's got one? Well, bring that, come on, ask me a question. You're, that young man, you're thinking about it, aren't you? Well, you sure fooled me. Who? Somebody back here?
Right back there.
All right, come on, let's hear it, speak where I can hear it.
Have you ever done any fighting in the war?
No, I have never been, no, I'm not a veteran, I wasn't in the and that makes me appreciate them even more. You know, I wouldn't be here talking to you, and you wouldn't be here listening to me if it wasn't for some veterans in years past that secured our right to be here. We'd always do that funny salute to a Nazi flag or something like that, or the Japanese sun, or what that flag. If it wasn't for the veterans who did that. No. What else? Big question. One more question. Brandon said we only have time for one.
Where is your office located if they want to visit?
Oh yeah, I'm in the
Yeah.
Cordell Hall office building in Nashville,
There you go.
on the 7th floor. I'm in leadership. That means, let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm in my 5th term in the Senate. I'm now in leadership. I'm third in line in the Senate. I'm what they call the caucus chairman. I'm in charge of the 27 Republicans who are in the Senate. I work with them on issues important to our group. And I'd love to have you come. Because I'm caucus chair, I have a little bit bigger office than some of the members who are not in leadership. And I've got all kinds of pictures. It's like walking through a museum. Every picture in my office has to do with my district and history. Like Alvin York. That's the first picture you'll see, a huge portrait. And there, give me 1 or 2 minutes more if I can. Will the bell ring?
No.
No.
No, but we still have another class to go to.
Okay, I don't want that. Other teacher mad at me. And they would be. But we have, you were talking about the 2 branches of government. I'm in the state senate. We have 3 branches in Nashville. We have a governor, we have a legislature, which in Tennessee we call it the General Assembly. So if you hear somebody talking about the General Assembly, they're talking about the legislature. And then you have the court system, which is the top one, is the Supreme Court. I'm in the General Assembly. It's called a bicameral. There are 2 parts, the Senate and the House. The Senate has 33, the House has 99. And I enjoy my service there. And unless you have a question, I want to thank you for letting me come. I really appreciate you. And the best thing you can do, we don't have time to talk about the huge industrial amounts, but you guys heard me talk about, maybe it'll be, you check your local media, they might write something about it. The best thing you can do to get ready for those jobs is what you're doing right here. Get the best possible education you can get. Study hard now. Because that work, study hard. It's the best thing you can do. You might be thinking, I want to be a scientist one day. Good. But before you can become a scientist or an engineer or a bank president or an actuary or whatever, you got to start right here and do your best in this classroom. Get the best education you can. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.